Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go over some of the ultra wide angle lenses you can get for your Canon cropped framed sensor camera. So that's anything which is not a 5D or even more expensive. So your 550D, the Canon 7D, the D60, the D600, in the future the D650, the D700, you know, all that kind of stuff. With crop frame sensors, there's a lot more ultra wide angle lenses. Ultra wide angle with a crop frame sensor is really around about the 10 to 15 millimeters. That's like ultra wide. Because with the Canon, you've always got to times its crop factor by 1.6. So a 10 millimeter equals a 16 millimeter in full frame terms. But don't worry about that kind of stuff. That's not important. If you've got a crop frame camera, and you want ultra wide, aim for something that's around about the 10, 12, 14 millimeters. That will give you an ultra wide field of view. Going beyond 10 millimeters, there's some lenses which will give you an 8 millimeter lens, but that will usually have a lot of distortion and be curved in some way, like a bit of a fisheye lens. However, the lenses which I tried here, one is the lens which I'm shooting this video on just now, which is a Tokina 11 to 16 millimeter f2.8 lens. That, I think, is possibly the best lens you can get. That's why I bought it. It's an f2.8, so it's nice and bright, lets a lot of light in. It's 11 to 16 millimeters, so it's super wide, or ultra wide, and it only zooms to 16 millimeters, which is only like half, at times at 1.5 or something. You know, it's not really there for you to be zooming around much. It's really just for minor changes in the amount of field of view that you're meant to be getting. But because it's got that less field of view range of motion, then its optical quality is considered to be better. Lots of reviews on this lens have been done, and it really does kind of come up better than a lot of the other lenses out there. So Tokina, great work, good lens to get. Okay, so first one I'm using is the Tokina 11 to 16 millimeter. It's an f2.8, 50th of a second. Okay, so that's it at 11 millimeters there, and that's it at 16. And the sound of the zoom. And the sound of the focus. The other lens I tried was a Sigma 12 to 24 lens. Now this is an f4 to 5.6, which means it's not as bright as the Tokina. Brightness being the aperture. F4 means it's like that size, and f2.8 is that size. Bigger, more light gets in. F4, and then once you zoom it into 22 to 24 millimeters, the aperture then gets smaller, which means even less light gets in. And as you see in this video coming up, that it gets darker the more you zoom, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, so the Sigma 12 to 24 is f4.5 to 5.6, and focus is like that. So this is it at 12 millimeters. Let's see. On a crop framed Canon 550D, that's it zoomed in to 24 millimeters. Definite brightness change there. And focus sound. Very silent focusing. In terms of distortion on the crop framed camera, very little. And in terms of focusing, good, and vignetting, not too strong. Now, Sigma also have the 10 to 20 millimeter lens, which is the widest out of the selection, which I managed to have a little test of, and it did pretty well. It was pretty good. I was quite impressed with it. It's also very silent in its focusing, and its distortion wasn't too bad. Price-wise it's probably fairly cheap, but again the aperture does get pretty small. This time I've got the Sigma 10 to 20 f4 to 5.6 HSM. So this is a couple millimeters wider and a little bit brighter at its widest. In terms of distortion, a little bit of a curve just at the very edge. Let's take a photo. And then let's zoom in and take a photo. And then let's listen to its zoom. Is very quiet, but as you see it does definitely get darker. And sound of focus. Very silent focus. And in terms of vignetting around the corners, not very much. Now just to kind of throw things in the mix here, a lot of people kind of trying to get like a all-purpose lens which is quite wide angle, and Canon have got their 15 to 85mm lens. So 15 is pretty wide for a big zoom like that. Normally they go to maybe 18, or is there any 17s? I don't think there's any 17s, but usually about 18 to 100 or 18 to something. So here the fact that it's 15mm, which means it's very, very wide, maybe not ultra wide, is pretty good. It means it really is a walkabout lens. However, how good is its optical quality? Well, that's what we're about to look at here. So have a look at this and see what you think. We're onto the Canon 15 to 85 f 3.5 to 5.6. As you can see, it's pretty wide. You can see the whole shop going up there. Just a little bit of curve on it, not too much. And quite a decent zoom. Obviously loses a lot of brightness. Sound of the zoom. And then sound of the focus, manually focusing. There. In the end, there's still a lot more ultra wide angle lenses from both Tamron and even Canon itself. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to have a little test of them in this shop that I was testing them out in. So what I would say is, my advice to you is if you are thinking about getting any lenses and you're not going for the Tokina, then definitely have a try of the lens in the shop before you go and get it. Or at least buy in the shop before you then order it online from another company. However, my advice really is the Tokina kicks ass so much. Hope that helps. Cheers. Bye bye.